All eyes were on the Maglia Rosa, the never-ending trophy, and the whole host of riders heading to the start of stage 6 of the Giro d'Italia. It would take the riders from Torre del Lago to Rapolano Terme in Tuscany. 3 sectors of sterrato, or white roads, harking back to the start of spring and the Strade Bianche. The Giro this year already borrowed from the Classicissima, and this time it would have a look at a modern classic, taking 3 of those sectors, 12 kilometres off-road of gravel, all coming within the last quarter of the stage. A good stage for a breakaway maybe, and the word had got round the peloton that could be the case. So after the neutral zone, under sunny skies and 24 degrees, that would signify a very fast fight. And it would be ferocious. No break allowed to go for a long, long time. 30 Ks passed and they were still going. Just about every single team, bar UAE Emirates and Ineos Grenadiers, trying to get up the road at some stage. The international peloton were at it as well. Not just the Italians. 135 Ks to go and it still hadn't gone. And they were approaching the first climb of the day to Volterra. Simon Clark would give it his all. A day that had seen 3 of his teammates from Israel Premier Tech unable to start the race due to injury. He was looking to get that magic Giro stage win. On the climb, things would start to move. Caden Groves was going away. Splits were happening in the peloton, and some sprinters would drop behind. Fiorelli would go, Barret-Peintre and Alaphilippe. 100 kilometres to go, 80 ridden, and there still wasn't a big gap. An opportunity to take mountains points came, but they weren't the focus of the day. Over the top of the climb is where things began to move even more. 14 seconds for a small group, the sprinters group still chasing on behind. There was a brief danger of around 20 riders getting away. Pelayo Sanchez jumped with 88 Ks to go. Caden Groves initiating another move. Julien Alaphilippe, the 2-time former world champion, going as well. And still it wouldn't settle down in the bunch. There would have been tired legs praying for things to calm down. Luke Plapp then tried his luck. Matteo Trentin for the umpteenth time as well. UAE Emirates seemed to be controlling but not necessarily chasing. Andrea Vendrame was the last rider to come across. Patrick Lefevre and Julien Alaphilippe very briefly exchanging things, not quite a handshake, a bidon hand. And at the intermediate sprint, Caden Groves ensured that his presence in the move was worthwhile. He took points back in the fight for the Maglia Cittadino. Fiorelli second, and 5 other riders were with them in the break. The sprinters who'd been dropped looked like they were about to get back. And they did get back with 55 Ks to go, just in time for the 3 dirt sectors to start. On to the first of 3 sectors they went. This the first sector normally in Strade Bianche. Vidrita, then Bagnaia, both coming one after the other, just under 5 Ks each. Clouds of dust, sunshine, and a little bit of chaos engulfed the peloton. Milan keeping Lopez at the front. Ineos Grenadiers doing a great job all day long. And at the front, the break was breaking up again. Plapp alongside Alaphilippe and Sanchez. Pogacar always well positioned. And on the second of the 2 first gravel sectors, the climb meant that the 3 strongest climbers would come to the fore. Groves and Trentin gone. Vendrame and Fiorelli also out the back. 1 minute and 24 to the peloton. And a hiccup at an issue for Danny Martinez and a few others. Ben O'Connor caught out there too. Attila Valter back on his bike after a scare. 2:26 to the peloton with 31 Ks and 1 sector to go. Beautiful Tuscan views under the Tuscan sun. Intergiro came and went. That was won by Luke Plapp. He took 3 bonus seconds, and after having briefly been in the virtual race lead, things would continue to come back together. Onto the final sector they went, the gap at 2 minutes and 4 seconds, Plapp having started the day at 2:33 down. No maglia rosa for him then, but there was a crash behind. It involved Caruso and a few others. And it meant that Juanpe Lopez, caught out behind it, would have a severe chase on. He'd get a little bit of help from Emmanuel Gebrexiabier, but at the front the racing was on. Thymen Arensman finding his legs after a strange start to the Giro. Magnus Sheffield also helping to keep Geraint Thomas well positioned, and Pogačar was also always where he needed to be. 1 minute and 3 with 6.7 k's to go, but a couple of nasty climbs remain. It should have gone to the breakaway, but it was still in the balance. Down to 31 seconds on the penultimate climb of the day. One more climb to the line remained, just a few hundred metres, but this at 20% with 4.5 kilometres to go almost did for Luc Plapp. And then the peloton hit it, a move from Romain Bardet, followed by Uijtdebroeks, Pogačar and the rest. That meant the gap was at just 20 seconds. Esteban Chaves would try and lead out Andrea Piccolo. 26 seconds to close was a big ask, but not impossible. Would they mess around at the front? That was the question. The immediate answer was no. Pelayo Sanchez, the young Spaniard, Luc Plapp, the Australian champion, Julian Alaphilippe looking to announce his arrival back to the big time. Plapp not there in the sprint. He led it out. Alaphilippe would go, then Pelayo Sanchez coming around. Just over a year after his first ever pro win at his home Vuelta a Asturias, he now became the first Spaniard to win at the Giro D'Italia in 5 seasons. Fourth place went to Piccolo, the breakaway taking the stage for the second day running, and Jonathan Narvaez winning the sprint from the rest of the bunch. No change in the top 10 in the general classification. A life-changing moment, though, for Pelayo Sanchez on Giro debut, a Giro stage winner. Movistar doing it for the 24th time down the years they've been coming to the Giro. Sanchez, Alaphilippe and Plapp, with Piccolo, Narvaez, Mezgec, Hermon, Schultz and the rest all in the first group. Another day in pink for Tadej Pogačar. He leads by 46 seconds ahead of Geraint Thomas, 47 in front of Martinez. No change whatsoever in the top 10 as they then go to the time trial. 2 time checks on the way. By modern standards, a long time trial with a very nasty sting in the tail to Perugia. An uphill finish, a 4th category climb and 40.6 kilometres. A very interesting route as the Giro contenders take on the clock.